Welcome to our video on how to create summary reports in Salesforce. My name is Steve, and in the next few minutes you will learn how to create reports in Salesforce that take advantage of this super easy to use and powerful tool. It's my opinion that every user will benefit by knowing how to get what they want out of Salesforce using reports. In the description I've included links to our reports and dashboards playlist where you can explore every video that we've made about reports. I've also included a really helpful video about optimizing Salesforce and increasing results. Check those out when you can. Now let's get into it. Okay, let's start by creating the summary report. So you want to select the Reports tab from within Salesforce, and you either select reports from the app that you're in because you can see it there, or if you select the 3x3, which are these dots right here, you can type in the word reports and you'll see the report option, which will take you to the same place. Now from within the reports menu, you select new report, and I'm going to select opportunity report because the reason I want to create a summary report is I want to summarize deal revenue. So I'm going to select start report here, and when I do that, it gives me the basic report layout that you've probably seen if you've watched any of our other videos. Now in this example, I always like to clean things up a little bit, so I'll go ahead and remove some of these fields that are kind of, in my way, and just kind of clean it up a little bit. And once I've done that, I'll then choose the filters that I want to apply. So filters control how many rows I see. So in this example, this seems like a reasonable report. And at this point, I have what's called a tabular report. Now, what makes a report a summary report is one of two things. I either summarize one of my currency fields. So in this example, I've got the amount field here. I'll go ahead and select summarize and select sum. And when I do that, you'll now see at the bottom of the report, I have a summary down here. So I've got the summary here that now makes this a summary report. If I run this report, you'll see now I have the total number of records and I have the total amount in this summary section, as well as that information being down at the bottom. Now, that's a great addition to a tabular report, just to summarize something of value or to average it or whatever. But the next thing that sort of adds another layer to this report, and that really sort of officially qualifies it as a summary report, is adding a grouping. Now, before I add the grouping, I want to point out that this Add Chart button here is grayed out because I haven't configured the report in a way that charts can work with. So I did add a summary, but really that's just a nice way of totaling up, all the records that you see here. What the charts are looking for would be a grouping that allows it to then display in a way that's more meaningful. And so in this example, I want to group by sales stage, which I do by coming over to groups. Under outline, I select groups and I simply type in stage. And once I do that, it's then going to subtotal by stage. So it doesn't just summarize, but it's subtotal. So now in this particular case, I use the stage field, which is a pick list, and it's a pick list that's not alphabetical, which is what I call a process pick list, which means it's in order of the steps that actually occur. And so once I do that, you'll see that I now have a subtotal by stage. And so in this particular example, I now have the chart button become available to me, which also means I can use this with dashboard charting to be more effective. Now, at this point, I now have what's called a summary report. Now, for the purposes of the video, I'll simply mention what it looks like to add a chart, which I cover in a lot of other reporting videos. But here, what I'm doing is I've selected the chart button, and then I can configure the chart by selecting the chart settings or chart properties. Now, one thing to mention about a summary report, or a matrix report for that matter, is if you plan on using this report in a dashboard, I think it's a wasted step to use the report chart. I think the charting capability in a dashboard is more powerful than the charting capability in a report. And I'll show you a quick example. I know this video is not about dashboards, but I'd like you to see what I mean. So in this example, I have the chart properties for this report, and you can see I have a few options of setting the chart up. If I go to a dashboard, for example, and go into setup, and look at that same setting, let's say I go look at a bar chart again, look at all the options I have here in the dashboard to set up the chart. So I've got a lot more options in terms of what story I'm telling with the chart in a dashboard than I do in a report. Now that's kind of a side note, but it's always something I like to point out to people who are building dashboards. Use the dashboard charting if you're going to. But if this is going to be a standalone report where you're gonna either subscribe to it or you want to send it out to people via email. Let's say since this is a funnel report, I actually don't like the horizontal for that. So let's say I want to do something more like a funnel. Then in that case, if the chart is going to stand on its own or it's going to go with a report, then by all means use the chart report. It's just more limited than you'd get with the dashboard, and that was the main point I wanted to make. But that's basically it. We have created a summary report, and its summary becomes a summary at a basic level when I summarize any field that's a numeric or currency field, and then when I add a stage, it's sort of summary plus, because now I can run, I have other charts available to me and other options available to me. And that's a quick overview of the summary report.
Thank you for watching this video. On the screen and in the description, I've included links to our reports and dashboards playlist. And I've also included a 5-minute video that will share 3 strategies that we use to increase results and reduce Salesforce license costs through a Salesforce program called OSP. Please spend a few more moments of your precious time with us, and we will help you take Salesforce to a whole new level in your company. Finally, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.